And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
This is my message to the media. First of all, what you need to know is that I'm a nobody. Unfortunately for you, there are tens of millions of nobodies. If you will not report on these protests, we will bring it to your fucking door. And we will do it every day until you cover the truth of what is happening in this country.
Call for Ukraine. Call for Ukraine.
Let the melody into your brain.
Call for Ukraine. Let the melody into your brain. Call for Ukraine. Evil fellas gonna drive you insane.
We're making moves while you're slower than molasses. We're riding deep, chasing donkeys of their asses. We all bosses, stomping schmucks like they're fastest. It's no wonder why the Peters wanna blast us. Can't surpass us, our razors hit the top. Stacking money like a crooked ass cop. Buying rides like a used Dodge Durango. Our whips hit you like that dude named Django. Now let's tango, this new beat is humongous. Burning on your toes like an itchy case of fungus. It's Easter time and the bunnies in among us. Brought to you by our renegade Chungus, and we're saying
Call for Ukraine. Call for Ukraine. Let the melody into your brain.
We are pilots of the Seraphims UAV strike company. We hunt everyday Russian invaders. Our FPV drones demolish occupants day and night. We scorch enemy's tanks and APCs. And we are there where we are most needed. And for all this, we desperately need your help and support. To purchase 10 pickups and 2 minivans.
Я старший лейтенант Сергій Костинський, командир ударної роти Серафими. І я звертаюся до команди Car for Ukraine, Бандеромобіль, а також до партнерів їх ком'юніті на YouTube, в мережі X, в Інстаграмі, включаючи ATP Geopolitics, Eric Sikamimus, Word Translated, Pistol One, Andrew Mercado, Таня Іона, Rick the Ukrainian та інших міжнародних бійців на інформаційному полі з проханням долучитися та посприяти в зборі на автомобілі для нашої ударної роти.
Our lives and lives of Ukrainian civilians are highly dependent from your support.
Ми, підрозділ Хімера БПЛА, звертаємося до команди Car for Ukraine та Бандеромобіль, а також до партнерів Laserpeak, ATP Geopolitics, Erix, Sukomaimus та інших міжнародних бійців на інформаційному полі з проханням долучитись та посприяти нам у зборі на автомобілі. А саме 3 повнопривідні пікапи та 2 буси для пошуку позицій та заїзду і виїзду з них, які знаходяться у важкопроїзних місцях. Дякуємо за допомогу. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Greetings from the Chimera UA. We would like to thank Andrew Mercado, Mercado Media Community, and William from Alberta for a massive help with fundraiser, as well as Car for Ukraine and Banderomobil for getting the track ready and delivering it here. Glory to Ukraine!
Дякуємо Car for Ukraine та Бандеромобіль за організацію збору та підготовку авто. Дякую спільнотам The Shields, а також ATP Geopolitics за підтримку у зборах і самому Діку та Джонатану за активну підтримку. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
За рідну неньку! Постріл! Постріл! Постріл!
Wow, that's some firepower, guys. Some serious firepower going on there, as you all know. Hi, how's everybody doing? I'm back. I had to take a few days. I was extremely exhausted from that fundraiser because I was grinding. it. We completed it. We completed the Easter Pasanki, Renegade Chungus, and Canty Luden combined fundraiser, total of 11,000 euros, 11,116 euros and 67 cents, with 83 donations coming over the grand total of 11,000. Let's freaking go, guys. Thank you. That was the biggest fundraiser I've ever done. And that was the craziest thing to see happen. Some huge donations. Thank you. Shout out to Blonde Bombsheller helping all the way, and more than just donating, plugging the streams, plugging the fundraiser, out there just killing it, delivering trucks to the front line, or at least a vehicle into Ukraine, where I believe she still is currently. How's everything going, BB? Absolutely amazing job, guys. We are at 166,000 euros for the total donation. I have switched gears because we have many people handling this, and I am such a smaller platform. I have shifted gears to take care of my friend Dodger, who is in the 151st outside of Pokrovsk. Yes, this is the same soldier we have been fundraising for. We gave him a new call name, a little flashier to grab a little more attention, to get him more help. His PayPal is pinned in the chat. I just received a little word from him. He has been busy as fuck. 79 drones over his direction. Stand by. $79 pieces coming his way. So obviously the Ford Ranger we got them is doing drone defense as well as other missions. So we have provided him in the past the tools he needs, helped out at least. So we're going to continue to help him. And hi, Claire, how you doing? Absolutely, Claire. Absolutely. And I would be more than willing to do another one. But for now, I'm going to shift gears back to my man. I got to make sure he gets home to his 2 kids. So I'm going to be focusing on him. Please continue to support Car for Ukraine. And if you would like to support my friend, Dodger is the same man I've been supporting before the Car for Ukraine fundraiser. We're going to, in the downtime between other fundraisers, support him. And he needs it, man. He showed me some pictures I can't share, but it is rough where he is at. Really rough. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah. Like I said, I'm super stoked to be a part of this. This was an amazing adventure for me. And 166,000. Such a Bimus, first place, 22,000 euros plus. Ukraine Matters, 19,000 euros. Laserpig. Now I know why they call him Laserpig. He lasered into 3rd place quickly. ATP Geopolitics came out of nowhere, 4th place. Rick the Ukrainian coming in hot, 5th. The Shill's in at 6th. Silicon Curtain 7. We're still in 8th place, even though I am diverting my energy towards my friend. Mercado's still up in there. War Translated. You can still donate to any of these and help them out along the way. But some serious ground being made. Soy Pill, Baba Yaga. War Translated picked it up. Tanya's picking it up. Very cool. Rudy doubled his, so it's on its way, guys. Very cool. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Very happy to be a part of. All right, let's see what we got. I gathered a bunch of stuff for the last few days. I got sucked into the TikTok algorithm. There is some fun stuff. There's some off-topic stuff. A little bit of everything. But yeah, I want to get on and do a stream because I was taking a few days off. I am practicing good behaviors. I'm sipping hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea with Beehive Dark Amber Ukrainian buckwheat honey. And this, like Canty was talking about, the color of it. Let's see if I can hit it with a light. Like he was just talking about on his stream. The color of that honey is super dark, if you can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it. I gotta get a better camera. But it is some dark ass buckwheat honey, and it is delicious. Delicious honey. It is also, buckwheat honey is one of the higher in nutrition. Oh, I got sticky. One of the higher in nutrition than regular honeys, and it's not as sweet as regular honey. It's got a darker, earthier, really complex flavoring to it. It's delicious. It's amazing, and it's not just because it's Ukrainian honey. It might be, but I'm telling you, Ukrainian buckwheat honey is the best I've ever had, hands down. And I'm a honey whore. I am a honey whore. I will whore myself for a jar of honey. Hi, ladies. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the TikTok. There's been a lot happening. Also, funny thing, our friend Kim got one of her posts kind of shadow banned, and all it was at one of the Ukrainian rallies, and they censored it for under 18 because one poster had, you know, the famous poster with the decayed arm and the Ukrainian band. One of the posters had that on there, and the moderators behind TikTok censored her video because of that. Weak as fuck. That's like the weak buns way to get your stuff censored. Yeah. But that happened, so guess I got to be careful when you do TikTok. I haven't really done anything as far as posting. I basically get content off of it because there's a lot going on. A whole lot. How far back can we go? How far back did we go? think we went all the way back to... Yeah, I think we did all that. I think we did Gore. Oh, no, we didn't do some of this. This is wild. All right, we'll skip. Okay, so yeah, here's where we left off. So protester arrested after painting over presidential seal. Check this out. I believe this is at Trump Tower, but he straight tagged over the 45th president's seal, USA, and stood there waiting to be arrested. Protesters arrested spray painting USA over the presidential seal in the lobby of Trump Tower in New York. Look at that, dude. He's got the frickin' that's not the Obi-Wan Kenobi. What's his predecessor? What's Obi-Wan? What was Obi-Wan's Jedi Master's name? What was his name? Because that's the vibe I'm getting. He's just chilling there. Sir, come with me. He was waiting for it. The other guy said, no, you're under arrest. How many guys does it take to handcuff a dude that's not even resisting?
Back out. This is our country. Everybody's got back out. This is our planet. This is our country. This is our planet.
You cannot ruin it without commitment. They are ruining the planet for profit. All right, well, there it is. Protesting, and he got arrested. I don't know what the charges are. God, if it's anything like the Tesla deal, he might be in some serious shit. He might be in some serious shit. Claire says, Brandon and Starsky chickened out of bare chesting, but you might be tougher stuff. Claire, they're going to give me donations to put my shirt back on. Maybe I'll body paint. I'll do like a live stream in body paint. Or like in a muumuu. I'll do a muumuu. Muumuus look comfy as fuck. I'd wear one anyways if I could get away with it. Maybe that'll be my excuse. I'll be like the streamer who wears a muumuu. Because they look hella comfy, no lie. I'm that guy that fucks with people too. I'll go over there and I'll start checking them out. Put them up. See what they look like. The muumuu streamer. I don't know how that'll do for the campaign. BB in the house. Hi, Mike. Steve, you're an absolute legend, sir. Salt's in here. Dankster, what up? Michael Cleric, what up? Nice to see y'all guys. Let's keep going. I got some fun stuff in here too. I had fun. I went through my algorithm and I had fun with it. I'm not gonna lie. I got sucked into it pretty well. Pretty well. You're gonna hear more of this. You're gonna hear more of it if I unmute it, I'd imagine. That's kind of like a prereq. Let me see if I can unmute it. Hopefully it's not copyrighted.
But I ain't gay, but I do gay stuff. Like fucking dudes in the back of my truck. A little ass slap don't mean I'm queer. I just suck some dick when I drink my beer. I ain't nothing wrong with a little squid.
Whoever made that is a genius. It's great. It's great. We call it the Kanye. All right, where we go next? What's this?
Wednesday morning, federal agencies teamed up to swarm several Denver metro apartment complexes.
Any drugs in the house? Can we come in and check?
The ICE Denver office said more than 100 members of the Venezuelan prison gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA, were targeted in the raids led by Homeland Security Investigations. Our cameras on scene saw several people detained and taken away. We've learned agents made more than a dozen arrests.
I'm finally glad somebody's doing something about this.
These actions were targeted operation focused on violent criminal aliens.
wait, hold on.
About this.
Agents made more than a dozen arrests.
I'm finally glad somebody's doing something about this. I'm finally glad.
What? Where did they find it? What? Oh my God! Bro's got a lizard. Bro, you got a lizard on you, my guy. What are you doing? God, spare some change for my 40? Look at him, bro. He not, man. They took his jarb. They took his jarb.
Glad somebody's doing something about this.
These actions were targeted operation focused on violent criminal aliens, TDA members, and those who are a threat to our public safety.
Some witnesses dispute that violent criminals were the only ones targeted. Concerned the door-to-door sweeps seem to be looking for any undocumented immigrants.
They were all heavily armed and demanding ID from me and asking me to snitch on my neighbors.
At the edge of Lowry Apartments in Aurora, we were on FaceTime with one family as ICE came to the door. Eventually, they were allowed to leave for work and school. At Denver's Cedar Run Apartments, we spoke with a Venezuelan immigrant who asked us not to share his identity because he feels like his brother was already unfairly targeted and he could be next. He says they were leaving for work around 6 in the morning as the ICE raid was starting.
Yes, ahí fue donde ellos supuestamente venían a intervenir en busca de gente criminal, que tuvieran récord criminal, y resulta que no fue así, porque nos pidieron documentos nosotros.
He says he has temporary protected status and is here legally while his brother is going through the asylum process. We can't confirm their documentation, but he did share this video with us.
Nosotros estamos trabajando. Y sin ninguna razón bajaron a mi hermano del vehículo, lo bajaron a la fuerza, le pusieron sus esposas, no lo dejaron hablar más nada y sin ningún motivo de razón lo montaron en el autobús.
We do know that people move different apartments.
You know, the more and more I learned, like, throughout my time as a human on this earth about how the immigration process works and how more people come here when our economy is doing better. And the reason they come here is because there's more work. And the reason our economy is doing better is because we have workers here that are working, doing the jobs that other people don't want to do. Right? Like picking lettuce in a big ass field in the hot heat, or climbing up on a tree and picking pears in 110 degree weather. Working as like symbiotically together, living off of each other, thriving together. It makes this look so much more egregious to me now than it did 10 years ago. Like 10 years ago, I don't even know if I would look at this the same way. I'd be like, oh, good, they're getting rid of some criminals. Yeah. But like with the educating on how the economy works and how the news media has fed so much garbage, straight garbage into our ears. And then like if you look like crime statistics, like who's really committing the crimes, it's not the immigrants. Yeah, of course, there's going to be bad seeds in every bunch. There's going to be bad ones in every bunch. There's bad people everywhere. There's bad people are everywhere, no matter where you go. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic that we've turned into this fear and isolation country and weaponized everything we can against each other and are absolutely just destroying ourselves. Destroying ourselves morally, ethically, financially, in every way possible. I guess that's all great nations collapse eventually.
We were contacting everybody in that area, looking for the targets that we were looking for under the public safety mandate that we have in order to try and identify those.
Will there be more in the coming days?
We'll get back with you on that, Tony.
Yes, there will be. Yes, there will be. And there has been since that was recorded. For sure. God, I got a lot of stuff, man. You'd think I would do something else when I wasn't streaming other than looking at TikTok.
You go back and look.
All right, what we got here? Helena, oh wait, no. Ohio, Cleveland meeting, made in USA TikTok recommendation, Parma. I don't have any info on who this is, and pardon my ignorance for that.
Look at that. The way most Americans don't know. Most Americans don't know. That was staged purposefully during this week. And the president of Ukraine, I thought, was preparing to go to the quiet room in the back and sign a deal. And they ambushed him.
Yep.
Okay? How many people here understand what the Russian KGB does? Those tactics. You saw it.
Compromise.
Most of the American people, they saw it. I was at an event this morning.
How many people knew that Zelensky was going to be ambushed when he went to the Oval Office? I did. I was saying, hey, this sounds like a setup. He shouldn't do this.
Out in Toledo, and they were appalled at the behavior of our president and vice president. And I will say this and probably get defeated.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of research. There's not answers here. You go back.
All right, well, at least someone was standing for Ukraine. That's standing on the podium in front of people. We need more of that, and stronger. I did a post earlier, like, our love and empathy and everything else is nothing without action. We need to act upon it and show. It takes action. A painter must paint to be a painter.
He had tattoos on his body.
Dang, we got some flaring up going on. Anger flared and nearly turned into physical confrontation at a town hall hosted by U.S. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley. Crowd members argued over the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who the Trump administration is trying to avoid bringing back despite the court order.
I've got one. Lady, you don't know what a tattoo is. Yes, I do. No, you don't.
Shut up! Sit down! Trump said, nope, I'm not going to do that.
So why do we even have a Supreme Court if they're not going to follow the ruling of the Supreme Court?
Pretty clear. That's what's been brought up about Garcia, and she brought up about just many other people, that this wouldn't even be an issue.
Is that a church? Are they, like, what is this? Is that a church or someone's house? Like, if there's a fridge there, then there's like some stained glass over there, and like a door here, and like a bar table here. What the fuck is going on?
If Biden had enforced the law.
I feel like I just slipped into an Airbnb mixed into like a freaking care facility.
He had tattoos on his body.
He had tattoos on his body, the bad guy. The bad man had the tattoo. The tattoo of the bad guy, the bad man. The ignorance of people just never ceases to amaze me. All right, what we got next? Where the hell did I go? I got a lot of stuff here, guys. Jeez Louise. I got a lot. There's a screaming. What do we got here?
Constitution,
Al Gore coming out of the woodwork. Look at this.
written by our founders, our Constitution, written by our founders, is intended to protect us against a threat identical to Donald Trump. Someone who seeks power at all costs to get more power. Our Constitution.
Fucking Man Bear Pig lives again. Where's he been? He's been away for a while, I feel like. Quite some time. Man Bear Pig is real. Alright, this shit is wild. Wild. This is wild. I don't even know. Okay, hold on. I gotta change my whole vibe for this one. In New York City, migrant children as young as 4 years old are being forced to appear in immigration court alone, without a lawyer or guardian by their side. Many of them attend these hearings virtually from shelters, confused and scared, trying to navigate a legal system that even adults struggle to understand. The reason we're here is because the government of the United States wants you to leave the United States, Judge Ubad ul-Haq told a group of about a dozen children during a virtual hearing. It's my job to figure out if you have to leave. The judge says the number of accompanied children in her court without a lawyer has gone from 30% to 60%. In the U.S. immigration court system, individuals, including unaccompanied migrant children, do not have a right to government-appointed counsel. While they are entitled to hire an attorney at their own expense, there is no provision fee for legal representation, even for minors. This crisis has gotten worse after a $200 million federal cut, I'd imagine. Oh, yeah, here. I got to scroll. Hey, it helps to scroll. Contract that funded legal aid for accompanying minors was terminated by President Trump. Now, thousands of children face the risk of deportation without legal guidance. In 2022, the number of unaccompanied immigrant children in America rose to 192,000. The video used in this post is from a 2018 documentary called Unaccompanied Alone in America. Okay, so this is an old post, but I didn't know this. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know this was a thing. This was super shocking to me when I saw it. But this has been going on for a while. And oh my God, dude, what the fuck are we doing? How are you going to run on a pro-life campaign and you're sending these kids to an abysmal existence somewhere in a foreign nation, dropping them off in God knows where? Who knows where they go? Who knows where do they go when they get shipped off? They don't have family. They got nowhere to go. Where do they go?
Are you a little nervous this morning? See? Do you understand what these proceedings here in court are all about? You know what a lawyer is? No?
We have some breaking news right now. The Trump administration.
This is the most pathetic thing I've ever fucking seen come out of this goddamn country of ours. This is the most embarrassing shit I have ever seen. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely the worst thing I've ever seen that I did not know about.
Administration is now forcing children as young as 4 years old to represent themselves in court. According to the Gothamist and other local reporting, because the Trump administration has essentially eliminated a lot of programs for undocumented children to have legal assistance in the courtroom, they are now forced to represent themselves. And this is just one example. This is them quoting a judge saying, quote, "The reason we're here is because the government of the United States wants you to leave the United States." There are about a dozen children during this court hearing. The parties included a 7-year-old boy wearing a shirt emblazoned with a pizza cartoon, an 8-year-old girl and her 4-year-old sister in a tie-dye shirt who squeezed a pink plushie toy and stuffed it into her sleeve. None of the children were accompanied by parents or attorneys, only shelter workers who helped them log on to the hearing. This is the new reality of the America that we now live in, and it's only going to continue as further cuts are made. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, link to my bio, so subscribe for free for this news and more. Spread the word and follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come.
Thoughts? Thoughts other than how fucking decrepit are we as a society? How and we think we're so advanced as a people and as a species. Anybody want to talk about them? Where do they go? Where do they go when they get sent back? To make fucking Nike shoes in a fucking sweatshop or where? Fucking pathetic. We can do better. We fucking need to do better than that right there. We need to do better than that. That's infuriating. Infuriating and shameful and embarrassing and borderline unforgivable.
Just after 3 a.m., we are making our way to downtown Manhattan to begin briefings on ICE actions to come this morning.
Inside the ICE field office in Manhattan, the ranks are enlarged by other agencies now ordered by the Trump administration to gear up for immigration sweeps.
There's also secondary address.
The plan? Multiple pre-dawn raids targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records. The charges range from...
Seriously, though, how does that judge even fucking sit there and, like... How do they sleep at night? Could you imagine being that judge and sitting there and going, well, looks like I gotta send you back home. Nobody wants you here. Goodbye. How? How haven't we passed legislation in this country? How haven't we put light on that subject? Why is this such a dark matter that I have to find it on a fucking TikTok feed somewhere to know about it? Why isn't that the biggest goddamn deal in the world?
Murder to theft to kidnapping.
We are going to take every precaution when we're trying to apprehend these folks.
Today, they are joined by newly confirmed Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Be safe out there.
The goal? 500 arrests over a week-long operation in New York. In a Bronx parking lot, a final huddle.
Target today is Anderson Pacheco, Venezuelan national. He's wanted out of Colorado on multiple felony warrants.
A suspected gang member with warrants for kidnapping, burglary, and a gun crime, authorities told us. Around 5:30 a.m., heavily armed agents raid this apartment building and find the suspect and 3 other male associates, all handcuffed and without incident.
Also there in the residence, 3 children. Their immigration status unknown. And now a check to see if they have a caregiver or if Child Protective Services needs to be brought in.
The next stop...
There you go. 3 more in the court system. 3 more kids. Take the parents away. We don't know about them. They got to stay here and wait for their court date so they can represent themselves.
Residents less than 2 miles away. After some negotiation, the officers make their way inside, but come up empty.
The targets were not home. No arrests, no detentions.
Federal law enforcement is working with limited help from New York City police because of the city's laws protecting undocumented immigrants.
Some might say, isn't New York a sanctuary city? But you said the mayor's been cooperative?
The mayor's been fantastic. In fact, I talked to him on the phone probably 4 or 5 times last.
Skip Fu says claims of crimes they don't have to prove. Fucking facts. God knows the atrocities that are happening with those kids. We don't know where they're going. We don't know where they're staying. We don't know who's they're in care with. Oh, fuck. That's too much to think about right now.
Last night, one of these individuals was so dangerous that we needed the backup of the NYPD to be there in case things went south.
Today's Bronx operation required around 36 law enforcement, yielding a handful of arrests.
Is that a ratio you're comfortable with?
It is, absolutely. I won't doubt what they need for support and
Look at this fucking wax fucking scumbag. Look at this.
backup. Are you aware
God damn, nothing
you're in
behind
violation of our laws?
You want cameras at these events, don't
Nothing
you? And some
behind
would
the
Are you aware you're in violation of our laws?
you want cam comfortable with?
It is, absolutely. I won't doubt what...
There's nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing behind that head. No compassion, no empathy, just cold and callous.
they need for support and backup. Are you aware you're in violation of our laws?
You want cameras at these events, don't you? And some would say you want this spectacle to be filmed.
It's not a spectacle. This is our nation's law enforcement judicial process. The scales of justice are equally applied to everybody. We want transparency on this.
Oh, bull fucking shit.
President J.D. Vance has suggested deporting 1 million people a year could be possible. roughly quadruple the number under President Biden last fiscal year.
Will you have the person power you need to carry out this initiative?
We're working on it.
It seems like you won't.
Well, we will have the personnel because we're going to continue to recruit and ask people to help us.
Just after...
Fucking disgusting. I'm so sick of these fucking wax figurines pretending to be fucking servants of the people who are just completely monsters. Completely monsters. We need a complete reform in immigration and the care for immigrant children. A complete reform. And that doesn't mean ship them the fuck out. That means pass legislation to ensure their safety, for God's sake. And then put them through due process and figure it out. Find a quick check to make them citizens. Those kids didn't do shit. They didn't do anything wrong. It's a fucking baby. God, that pisses me the fuck off.
In developing news tonight, Beijing has responded to Donald Trump's apparent U-turn in their escalating trade war. The US president has declared he's no longer going to play hardball on tariffs on Chinese goods, but Beijing isn't buying it.
He once called his tariffs the medicine for a sick economy. Now Donald Trump is getting a taste of his own. As the US economy struggles, the president announced plans to cut the unprecedented 145% tariff on Chinese imports.
I'm not going to say, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice. They're going to be very nice.
But China's response to the United States wasn't quite as nice.
Saying they want to reach an agreement with China while continuing to apply maximum pressure is not the right way to deal with China, and it will not work.
With the not-so-pleasantries exchanged, negotiations between the two countries have begun.
The president and the administration are setting the stage for a deal with China.
The volatile rollercoaster of trade tariffs has left the global economy feeling unwell.
Had to eat half an edible. I should have ate one already. Trump bowing to China. No, we're not going to say we're going to play hardball because now they got me scared. Because they could crush us in a trade war. They've been trading since 260 BCE. How fucking stupid are you to go in a trade war with a country that's been trading for over 2,200 years? Since the fucking sailboat's been around. Okay. What's Rachel Maddow have to say? I really never watched much of her, but we'll see.
This was Missoula, Montana today.
Oh, yeah, we covered this. But it's cool to have someone that knows what they're talking about narrate it anyway. So, yeah, AOC and Bernie in fucking deep red Montana. Missoula, I think, is traditionally kind of blue. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to how they vote. I know Montana's red as hell, but anyways.
Deep red state Montana, Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders turning out more than 9,000 people today. Look at this. Look at that crowd. Middle of the day on a Wednesday in Montana. Yesterday in California, AOC and Bernie turned out over 10,000 people in Bakersfield, California, and 26,000 people in Folsom, California. This is not like...
Let's go Folsom. 26,000 people in Folsom. 26,000. Our friend Kim that I interviewed, the advocator, she was there getting coverage. Very fucking cool. 26,000 people in Folsom, Sacramento.
Like San Francisco or Oakland or Berkeley. This is not a liberal enclave in California. And they turned out 26,000 people in Folsom.
You know, I heard that someone started flying a plane with a banner that said, this is Trump country. It sure don't look like it today. This is Trump country. I think this is our country.
Damn. She's got charisma, folks. She's got charisma. Shout out to Callie, yeah. The thing, hey, I was just talking to Kim about this too. Like, I feel like in California, we are too comfortable just accepting the fact we have this gigantic wonderful GDP and blue state and things are so great. If we have that attitude for too long here, we're not paying attention. We're not going out there and advocating in this state. We're not out there getting people to rallies, Ukrainian rallies, 50-50-01 rallies, because our rallies here are small compared to back east. Everybody's coming out. They're huge. But we're in our little blue state here, and I think we just feel like we're so safe and untouchable. Our rallies are nothing compared to the size on the East Coast. The East Coast is showing us up. So we need, in Cali, we got some serious work here to get people fired up and motivated because we don't have enough people out in the streets. I probably, we have a lot of people that agree with what's going on as far as the 50-51 protests and Ukrainian rallies and other things that are of importance in immigration. But it just, I'm not seeing the flare. I'm not seeing the vibes. I'm not seeing the huge crowds we should have because we're a gigantic state. Gigantic. The most populated state? Yeah, right above New York, right? The most populated state in the country, and we don't have the biggest rallies, and that's concerning. So I'm already brainstorming little like shorts I can do addressing to California and try to get it out there on social media. I'm gonna focus on that big time because there are a lot of Republicans here too.
That was Folsom, California, in a Republican congressional district yesterday. This was the day before that, Monday, in Ruby Red, Idaho, a sold-out capacity crowd of 12,500 people. Look at this. In Nampa, Idaho. This was the day before that in Ruby Red, Utah. 20,000 people turning out to see Bernie and AOC in Salt Lake City. This was the day before that in Los Angeles. Senator Bernie Sanders, his office saying that this crowd that turned out drop the chyron there so people can see the crowd. Thank you. Senator Bernie Sanders' office saying this crowd of 36,000 people that turned out to see him and AOC in Los Angeles on Saturday was the biggest crowd that Senator Bernie Sanders has ever spoken to anywhere.
So, okay, fine. Downtown LA, you're going to have more people, right? But I'm not talking about a Bernie Sanders rally or an AOC rally. I'm talking about like a 50-51 march where everybody comes out and protests. I'm talking about the Ukrainian rallies. There's not enough Americans at the Ukrainian rallies. And even in Sacramento, the rallies, other than on February and August, are small. Small. Even for the amount of Ukrainians there. I understand the perspective of not having a lot of Ukrainians there at the off months. Everybody's out there working. Like there's 40,000 Ukrainians in Sacramento right now. Half of them just got here. They're fresh off the boat, as one of my friends said over there. They don't have money. They don't have time to go and come here and hang out at the Capitol building and hold signs up, Free Azov. They have to establish new lives. And then they have family members that are helping them do that. So I understand why there's not a lot of Ukrainians at the protests. The protests are ran by Ukrainians and other countries as well. But what I'm saying is where are all the Americans at? And now, over the since February, I've seen more at the events. A family here, a single person here, some other people that finally networked with us, but it should be way bigger. It should be where are the massive protests and the rallies for Ukraine from America? They're not happening. We got to fix that somehow.
These are just massive, massive, massive events that the two of them have been holding in California, but not not necessarily in the blue state caricature parts of California. And also in Utah and Idaho and Montana. And these crowds are out there for two of the most dynamic and most unapologetic.
Steve, I would vote for AOC, yes, but it does seem that a female president is less desirable in the United States from polling. But I don't get that. That makes no sense to me. I voted for Kamala Harris, first Democrat I have ever voted for in my life. And I would vote for AOC in a heartbeat. I feel like we should be way past that point. I feel like we should be way past the point of gender bias in presidency. And I feel like this country needs the perspective of a female, if you ask me, if I'm being brutally honest right now. because we have lost our sense of empathy and compassion from letting these twisted motherfuckers in office take control for so long. AOC was born in 1989. She's 35 years old. She can run this year. The minimum age requirement is 35 years old. So she is eligible. She is eligible. Dude, wouldn't that be some shit? The oldest vice president in history and the youngest president in history together fighting oligarchy. Dude, they got my vote. If she's on the ballot and she is the Democratic nominee and she has a chance with Bernie, dude, I'm fucking all in. Let's strike that match and go. Chungus for president? Oof, come on now. Hell no. No. I know me. I know me. Maybe a representative. That'd be cool. I wouldn't want to do president. Hell no. I'm too rough. You guys see me. Shit, I don't hide nothing. They pull up one of my live streams after celebrating the completion of the Pisonki trunk and just go, fuck no, look at this guy. Pulling a Hegseth on camera. At least I stayed OPSEC, right? I stayed OPSEC. What's this?
You doing all right over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just checking my computer.
Doing what?
Just checking my computer.
I heard about some suspicious behavior over here, so we were just checking out the area. What department are you with?
I work for Collin County Sheriff's Office.
Collin County?
Yes, sir.
You got ID on you?
I sure do.
Can I see it, please?
You want to see my...
Yeah, please. I need to see your ID. Yeah. Where you guys?
This guy's out of pocket for doing this.
Guys coming from today? What are you out here doing today? Where are you actually coming from today?
I'm here.
From here? You've been here all day? Okay, where are you headed to right now?
Back to where I need to go, back in front of the building.
You licensed to carry that firearm? Okay. Can you do me a favor while I'm dealing with you? Can we go ahead and put your firearm up for my safety?
Absolutely.
Where are you headed to?
This cop's gonna be like, oh my god, it's a prank.
Going to work.
So we're just out. We heard there's a lot of drug trafficking going on in the area. We've been getting tips from people, so we're just out checking on people. I mean, we saw that the store was closed down, so it was kind of suspicious that you're just sitting here.
Lieutenant Yon with the Collin County Sheriff's Office.
Lieutenant Yon. All right. What are you out here doing today? In the
Yes, right now.
Okay. Where are you headed to?
Going to work.
Do you have anything illegal on you that I should know about?
No, sir. No.
Okay. You don't have any drugs or illegal firearms or anything in the vehicle? All right. Would you mind if I take a look?
Yes, I would.
If I can, I can just have you sit on the curb right over there.
You don't.
What a dick.
Don't get to search me, man.
Do you have anything illegal on you? Or
What?
Huh? I'm just asking. I don't know, drugs, weapons that you shouldn't have, or
No.
no? Okay. Would you mind if I check, or?
Man, are you crazy?
So, you doing all right over here?
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I need one more. I'm gonna skip ahead. I don't know if you guys do office jobs, but I spend half of my life in an office. During a lot of spreadsheets and graphs and other very important information when I could actually be doing other stuff that would be extremely impactful without staring at a PowerPoint or Excel and having it suck the life out of me. This is my new montage, my mantra, if you will.
Fuck PowerPoint. There is no power in those points and no point in those presentations. We have been brainwashed into believing that PowerPoint gives us the power to express ourselves creatively. But the only power it has is to kill our souls. Fuck PowerPoint and fuck your Excel spreadsheet too. Those columns and rows represent the metal bars of the prison cell of your brain. Free yourself from the soul-killing software of Excel and PowerPoint and live a more meaningful existence. Fuck PowerPoint and fuck Excel.
I fucking love that. Oh my god. That's so good. That's so true. So true. God. Oh my god. After a while, if you gotta do pivot tables and shit, oh my god, dude. Staring at a pivot table all day. I don't want to say what it makes me feel like. It makes me feel really bad inside. Alright, next.
Today is my last day at the agency. Technically, it's next Tuesday, but I don't have time to return my equipment and all that stuff next week. So I'm going into work today to return all my stuff. And last night I did the exit interview closeout checklist type of stuff. First of all, I didn't realize that I had to do it. The sheet of paper that I got telling me that my job was ending just said refer to this checklist. Didn't say that I had to do it. Didn't say that it's super important to do it before I leave. But I'm glad that I looked at it. I thought it was just like, you know, make sure that you return your badge and your laptop, whatever, that's at the end. But it had a lot more things on there. But anyways, so when I was going through that checklist last night, it would say, email this person to end your credit card. Email this person to, you know, close.
How does she keep her car seat so clean? My shit didn't look like that when my kids were in car seats. My shit had like McDonald's French fries over here, ice cream cone stain over here, head sweat here, fucking missing sock hanging off the side, maybe a piece of gum somewhere. That's a clean ass car seat.
Close out your badge. Email this person to cancel your access to the financial system. And on. So as I was going through it, every email that I sent out, I got a return message saying, I'm out of office. I'm out of office. I'm out of office. So what's going to happen? Who's going to be doing all this closing out of people's access to the systems, access to cards, access to the building? You know, who's going to be doing this? Who's left? If every
dried up chicken nugget from the floor from last Thanksgiving. Not to mention, like, the crinkled package of ranch dressing that's open in the corner. You're wondering who has the foul socks.
But he's leaving. And I heard from my coworkers that 90 people out of 700 in our team at our department took the DRP too, including some managers and supervisors, including the head of grants, the boss lady of grants. So she knows all the rules and regs to follow, and she was such a stickler about making sure that everybody was following everything to a T. And she's gone? Who's gonna be left running this place? A bunch of goofballs? Lord. Today's my...
Lord. Lord. Lord have mercy. Goodness gracious. Another mother losing her job in the federal government. That's pro-life, right? That's pro-children, isn't it? Making sure she doesn't have a job. God. The hypocrisy is unbelievable in our fucking administration. Absolutely. Dino Nuggies, best Nuggies. Yes, I love the Dino Nuggies. They're made with 100% real chicken, and they are in the shape of little dinosaurs, and they're cheap because you can get them at a grocery outlet. The Dino Nuggies are the best. Abso-freaking-lutely. And they taste the best. Like, I would smack those. Sippy cups and seats, yes. Oh my god. I'm so over the sippy cups, thank god. Thank god. Okay, next. What's this guy gotta say? Ooh, he's crying.
Hey guys, I just wanted to make this video to educate.
Oh, this shit is sad as fuck. Okay, It's an autistic kid, and he's scared. And I had, like, if you have an autistic kid, you understand where he's coming from here. This is genuine as fuck, and it's kind of disturbing. So, hold on to your hats.
Educate people, let people know what's going on in the world. I'm very scared, and I'm trying not to spiral. RFK Jr. announced today that they want to create a registry of autistic people in the United States. And, you know, when you first think of that, you might not think it's such a bad idea. You know, maybe it's not a bad idea. Maybe it could help people. They did this during the Holocaust. They had a registry of. I'm reading straight from the website about the Holocaust. Parents were encouraged to surrender their children, and the medical staff secretly would murder the children through starvation or lethal injection. And I'm being an autistic adult who does struggle. I'm very scared. I'm very scared. You know, nothing might happen, but historically, and considering the other moves that they've made, I'm scared, man. I'm scared, and I'm spiraling a bit. Had a good cry about it. Had a little bit of a breakdown. Charlie knew I was. He knows. He's very smart.
Guys, have you ever seen the engagement with cats and autistic kids? Is the most beautiful thing. It's like the cats are so understanding. It's unreal. They are so smart. They are such smart little fur babies. It is unreal.
Smart, and I love them. We may struggle at times, autistic people, but we are people. Just let us live. Just stop bothering us. Quit making life harder for us when you don't have to. Right, Charlie? Right, Bubs? Yeah. You're always there for me, right, Bubba? Right? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss? Thank you. You're a good boy. Yeah. What do you think? There he goes. There he goes. It's scary. It's scary. Hey guys.
I can't even begin to describe how fucked things are going to be for me in my personal life if the Department of Education goes away and my daughter's IEP. So that one hits the heart.
Senator, the Trump administration admitted that it wrongly deported someone in Maryland to El Salvador.
Tell me who you are.
I'm Anna Lasoy with the Washington Post.
Oh, okay.
I'm just wondering.
I can tell by your question.
Yeah, are you concerned about other mistakes being made, including in your state, Louisiana?
Do you have some examples at the Washington Post of other mistakes that were made?
I'm asking you as a
No,
senator.
I'm asking you. You asked the question.
Are you
have
concerned?
Examples of others, or are you just speculating?
Well, there's a man in Maryland who the Trump administration admitted that it wrongly sent to El Salvador, and I'm wondering, as a U.S. senator.
I haven't seen that, and forgive me, but I'm not going to take your word for it. Okay, your reporting is a little one-sided, as I think.
It's court documents. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry?
It was in court documents, so I'm just,
Well, I'm
you know.
sure, and I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying I play poker with friends, and when I do, I still cut the cards. So I'm not going to assume that the Washington Post is telling me the truth. Okay, thank you.
What a fucking loser. He doesn't even have a clue. He's clueless. And then he just attacks the news agency talking to him. What world do we live in now?
Well, good morning, everyone. As many of you know, I was the first openly autistic person elected to Pennsylvania's General Assembly. And while there have been moments where being on the spectrum has made this job a little bit more difficult for me, there have also been many moments where the strengths associated with being autistic have made the job easier. There are a wide variety of experiences among folks on the spectrum. People like to think of the spectrum as this linear thing, and that's inaccurate. Folks have widely different support needs and different strengths. And regardless of those needs or strengths, the contributions of each autistic person are valuable. Many of us do work jobs, pay taxes, have families, and so on, but regardless of if we do those things or not, we still contribute to society. RFK Jr.'s comments are offensive. They're offensive to folks on the spectrum, and they're offensive to those who love us. We need more supports and services for autistic people, not insults about how we contribute to society. There has been research into the causes of autism for decades. Autism is a cluster of traits, many of which have genetic causes, but the idea that there is one universal thing that causes autism is not factual, nor is it borne out in research. It is also a good thing that more folks are being diagnosed. This means we have increased access to diagnostic services, and it means that folks have more access to support. More research about autism can also be a good thing. It shouldn't just be limited to what the causes of autism are, but it should also look at what supports and services are needed, what funding limitations exist, and so on. And it also cannot be limited solely to the experiences of children. To weaponize...
Guys, if you can, hit the like, share it out, hit the notification if you could, please. If you're sitting in the background, please throw me a sub too. Appreciate it.
Autism research for political purposes is inappropriate and offensive. We do not need fear-mongering tactics. We do not need scare tactics. And the idea that a cure could be found for a collection of experiences that current research suggests are heavily influenced by genetics is both not borne out in existing research and also smacks of eugenics. Furthermore, to create a registry of autistic people based on our private medical records is a terrifying idea. I do not trust the Trump administration to have proper data protections in place, given that this is the same administration that keeps accidentally leaking classified military operations. I would assume they would treat the medical information of autistic people with similar disregard. This is also why I have concerns about optional registries, like the one being talked about for driver's licenses. That data, should it fall into the wrong hands, could be used improperly and even dangerously. And let us not forget that in addition to Jewish people, LGBTQ+ folks, and other marginalized groups, the Nazis also targeted disabled people, and specifically autistic people. This included very problematic research practices involving people on the spectrum. We cannot verge close to this again, and I stand firmly against anything that looks vaguely similar. No weaponization of autism research as a political punching bag, no problematic use of our private medical records, and no autism registries. Autistic people and our families deserve better. And here in Pennsylvania, we will fight to protect our community.
That's the same type of registry they tried to do in the it's an ultra right wing group in Germany, that the AfD that Elon Musk was supporting. They were going to do a registry for anybody with the slightest mental illness. That is a well-known fact, and they are the epitome of Nazi Germany and Nazis. And this is super concerning, and it's super fearful for anybody paying attention. Anybody with an autistic child or is autistic, making a registry. What type of shit is that? That is unnecessary, completely unnecessary, and it's disturbing as fuck. Especially coming from a guy who is brain damaged from fucking tuna fish sandwiches, because he doesn't know when to stop. Because he doesn't think it's going to get a mercury poisoning. He talks like this. You fucking kidding me? You're going to tell me I have to fucking register my kid? Fuck you. Fuck you and your brain worm. Oh, yeah, we follow up on this. So we're... I know you guys remember this one. This went viral. Teresa Borenpol is seeking $5 million in damages after being forcibly removed from a Republican town hall in Idaho in February. 6 men are now facing charges related to the incident, according to the local prosecutor's office.
6 men are now facing charges after prosecutors say they forcibly removed a woman from a town hall in Idaho in February. Teresa Borenpol, a former Democratic legislative candidate.
Look at this fucking ass clown in the back there. They're all laughing. Yeah, it's a good time. Oh yeah, look at this. It's like a movie, guys. Fucking pussies.
Candidate was asked to leave the Republican town hall in Coeur d'Alene by security due to persistent outbursts, according to the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee.
Women are dying.
You folks who are just popping off with stupid remarks, you're not taking into account the people sitting next to you.
Video from the town hall shows Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris pulling Borenpol's arm before he gestures at 3 men to remove her.
What we've got right now is a situation where these folks are trying to filibuster and shut this whole program down.
I acted in a non-violent way. I never got up out of my seat myself, but I was very forcefully pulled from my chair. My hair was pulled. I had my arms contorted. I had the weight of 2 grown men sitting on top of me with their knees while my face was down towards the floor. And my wrists were pulled all the way across a normal-sized auditorium.
The local prosecutor's office said 4 men faced charges of battery and false imprisonment. 5 of the 6 men now charged are associated with a private security firm, Lear Asset Management. The firm's
Lear Asset Management out of California, they are so fucked. They are beyond fucked.
business license has since been revoked for not wearing clearly marked security uniforms, according to city officials.
They done fucked up. They had to have some form of identification on their body saying they were private security. They had nothing, just men in frickin' jumpsuits. Unreal.
They didn't feel any need to tell us who they were. And that's, once again, why I was fighting so hard to stay in that space. I had no idea who these people are that are apprehending me.
The chief executive of Lear said in an email to the New York Times, "We believe these charges are false and should have never been made." Sheriff Norris is not facing any charges, but his attorney told CNN in a statement that Norris faithfully executed the constitutional and statutory duties entrusted to him by the people of Kootenai County, Idaho, all of whom are his first concern. Any claims or allegations to the contrary are completely unfounded.
He violated her First Amendment rights and then physically assaulted her with 2 fucking goons that don't know their job at all. You don't do that shit if you're in asset protection, whatever the fuck they're in. Especially not wearing any identification with no credentials available, not telling him. She could have pepper sprayed them in self-defense and got away with it.
For
I wish she would have. I wish she would have just pulled out some fucking pepper spray, just defended her civil rights.
Weeks after, it had felt like I was in a car accident. It was really painful. I had bruises up and down my body. But the psychological effect is really, I think, what has stuck the most. I was treated in such a violent way in front of so many people in my own community at a local public high school.
Barnpool has formally notified Kootenai County officials of her intent to sue and filed a tort claim notice seeking $5 million in damages.
Oh man, I hope she wins every penny of that. $5 million, baby. Let's go. I hope she wins big time. I'm sure she will. There's so many. When I saw that video, I'm like, oh, those guys are fucked. Big time. I can't wait to see what comes of that. I really can't. All right, we're on to a little break. We're going to follow up, see what Daryl Issa is doing. Remember this? Daryl Issa is still a chicken. He still hasn't done the town hall. 8 years, no town hall. How? 8 years, no town hall. What a... Wow. Wow. No town hall, 8 years. Daryl Issa. You guys already saw it before. I already played it, but they did a little peaceful protest inside of where he was throwing a... yeah, right here. I'll play it again. This shit's hardcore. This is Cali.
What? Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. It's a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall. Daryl Issa is a chicken. We want a town hall.
That shit goes so hard to me. That is the most gangster shit to come out of California I've seen since Tupac. 100%. San Diego's checking in. Absolutely. I love this. He hit his ring too, so that's so on. They're so recording that. That makes it so much better knowing there's a fucking... He's gonna see a video of that shit when he checks his ring. Oh my god. I love that energy. I love that energy.
But I think it was today. China came out with a statement. I think it was today. It might have been yesterday. I don't know. I just saw it where they were like, due to the U.S. Tariff raise, we will be raising tariffs 125%, and any other raises the U.S. will do in retaliation will be inconsequential and will be seen as a joke in the history of economies. And I'm just saying, maybe you don't want to get into a math contest with China. China came out with a statement.
That's pretty hilarious. That's pretty hilarious. All right, who's this?
So today, the FDA is taking the following steps. Number one, establishing a national standard and timeline for the food industry to transition from petroleum-based food dyes to natural alternatives. Number two, initiating a process to revoke authorization of synthetic food colorings, including those not in production, namely citrus red number 2 and orange B, within the coming weeks. Number three, taking steps to eliminate the remaining 6 synthetic dyes on the market from the U.S. food supply, specifically red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, yellow dye number 6, blue dye number 1, blue dye number 2, and green dye number 3 by the end of next year.
I'm reading the comments over here. First comment says, now get rid of the high fructose corn syrup. Facts. Why are we not looking at that? Why aren't we talking about the 53 grams of sugar in one Monster Nitro energy drink? How is that okay? But let's focus on the dyes, not the massive amount, 2.5 days of sugar in one can of fucking energy drink that you just suck down. Ugh, I feel great until you don't. I need another one. So you drink 3 a day, 150 grams of sugar. Next thing you know, you're insulin dependent. Giving money to the pharmaceutical company. Let's talk about caloric intake and freaking in anything you buy from fast food. What's a medium-sized meal from Wendy's? 1,500 calories. Your total day intake should be what, 2,000 to 2,100 calories? And your medium-sized meal there is 1,500? Where's the regulation on meal sizes and caloric intake? We're killing ourselves with fat and sugar. 100%. And we're going to concentrate on the red dyes. How about fucking health education on how much sugar you're supposed to intake? My kids know. Fuck, I know. I'm drinking bubbly. Putting the beer down. I'm a hypocrite when it comes to that.
We are also requesting food companies to remove red dye number 3 sooner than the 2027-2028 deadline previously announced. These steps that we are taking means that the FDA is effectively removing all petroleum-based food dyes from the U.S. food supply. So today the FDA is...
I'm actually happy about that, but that's a small...
So
that's
today
a small,
the FDA...
That's a small step. They have bigger fish they could be frying. 1,600 to 2,200 calories depending on activity. Yes, the best diet I ever did was 15 to 1,600 calories a day, 30 minutes of exercise. And I lost 30 pounds. I lost 40 pounds in 30 days. And by week 2, I quit pooping. I was burning all I was giving in. It was the craziest diet. It was I forgot where I got it. It was a really good diet. It's caloric intake count. Basically, I ate beans, rice, hard-boiled eggs, and yeah, cheats. You can do cheats. Like there's calorie-free vegetables like cucumbers. Strawberries are actually calorie-free, and then there's calories that don't count to your calorie count because they take more calories to burn, like apples. Apples actually take more calories to digest than they provide you. So you could have all the apples you want, you could have all the cucumbers you want, strawberries, but then when it comes down to it, your caloric intake, beans, rice, eggs, pretty much, fish, 1,500 calories a day, 30 minutes of exercise, mostly elliptical, treadmill, whatever. And I just, bleh, it just went away so fast. It was the best one. But like that's a really aggressive one. Like Canty just said, they could go 16 to 2200. 2200 is probably more realistic. You'll shred anyways doing that one. The one I was doing, I was in my 20s. It wasn't a problem for me. Now I would probably do like 18 to 2000, somewhere in the middle. I'd imagine probably end up doing 22.
FDA is taking the following steps. Number one, establishing a national standard and timeline for the food industry to transition from petroleum-based.
All right, we already watched that one. I got sidetracked. Let's skibbity. What's this gentleman doing? Oh, this shit's hilarious. Okay, this is just funny.
Bro, are you sure you're filming me?
I am.
How do you know that? How do you know you're filming me? Huh?
Is it not filming?
Well, how do you know? How do you know it's not filming?
It is,
Alright,
Oh, God. Oh, God. We all know somebody like that. We all do.
We have an executive order on school discipline policies under, I believe it was the Biden administration, first Obama and then Biden. The Department of Justice issued guidance that made it almost impossible for schools to enforce adequate disciplinary policies. This created issues in the classroom for teachers and students alike. Basically, they focused on CRT and sort of diversity ideology instead of actually just enforcing the rules in classrooms to ensure a safe learning environment. This executive order revokes that prior guidance and puts us back in a place where hopefully the Department of Education can focus on education and teachers can focus on teaching in a safe environment.
And this was important for you, Linda, as I understand it.
Yeah, absolutely, because it gives teachers the authority now to have discipline in their classroom and discipline the person who is being disruptive.
Great.
We took that away.
Don't touch my kids. Don't touch my kids. Have a good day.
An early morning Immigration and Customs Enforcement raid at the Home Depot in Pomona swept up several day laborers as they waited outside hoping to be hired for the day. One of them, Carlos, narrowly avoided being caught. Speaking through an interpreter, he described the emotional toll.
I arrived here, and when I started seeing the scene, I started crying. The tears started leaving.
According to Carlos and other witnesses, the raid unfolded just around 8 a.m. as ICE agents arrived in both marked and unmarked vehicles, rounding up workers from the parking lot. Local immigrant right groups, including the Inland Coalition for Immigrant Justice and the National Day Labor Organizing Network, organized an emergency press conference and rally.
And we know that these type of operations intend to intimidate people who are looking for an honest day of work not to come to the day labor corners.
If you are detained, you can exercise your rights. You can refuse to answer questions, and you can ask to speak to an attorney.
An early morning Immigration and Customs Enforcement raid at the Home Depot in Pomona swept.
All right, well, more ICE raids going on. People getting emotional. It's pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic this is all happening. LA. I don't hear about a lot of that happening in California, but I'm sure it is. It's not in our area yet. We've got watch groups out there in our area, but it directly impacts our economy though. When ICE comes around, people stop coming out and shopping at local businesses because they're afraid to.
President Donald Trump has issued an order
accusing the Smithsonian Institution of framing American history in a, quote, improper and negative light. The order puts Vice President J.D. Vance in charge of overseeing efforts to, quote, remove improper ideology from all areas of the institution. Trump singled out the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the Women's History Museum, and the American Art Museum. Civil rights advocates, historians, and black political leaders have sharply rebuked Trump's order. President Donald Trump has issued an order accusing the Smithsonian.
More false accusations going. Now the Smithsonian's under attack, of course. It's complete and utter disgustingness. What else do we got? Oh my god, yeah, this is hella cringe. These poor kids.
This is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats.
These kids are like, who is this motherfucker? He's never around.
This is where we're fighting hoaxsters. Hoaxsters. This group, no, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with access to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story.
Dad told us not to lie. Oh, it's so cringe. We're watching my favorite here. Charlie Kirk, dude. Dean's getting out there. Dean was calling out Charlie Kirk, trying to debate him.
It's a very move on your part to keep avoiding Dean.
Then debate me.
People like
Let
you.
me on the mic. Let me on the mic.
Get Dean on the mic. That's the whole reason I came up here.
Thank you.
Move for you to keep avoiding him.
This was Dean's whole plan. I'm going to bring these people here. Woo!
We've been told by every single one of Kirk's staffers that he doesn't want to talk to us. I have some disagreeing questions. Do you think I could ask him?
Well, that's something you're going to have to talk to somebody else about.
The reason we weren't let in line is because we don't go to college. But apparently neither does a guy on the mic. We're in MAGA territory now. We need to be very respectful.
Hey, Charlie, Dean's here. Dean. Come on.
You have a permit?
We should talk. Trying to talk to Charlie Kirk, but it's not worth it. Do you think me and Kirk should have a conversation? 100%. You got to get me up there, man.
You may be purposely ignoring you.
This has proven to be very difficult.
I think that we are in the free marketplace of ideas. Anyone should be able to come up here and challenge and debate you. If you're really for that, as you say you would allow someone to come up here and debate you on that.
Charlie Kirk being a little bizatch, not wanting to talk to Dean. Dean would shred that motherfucker in debate. Dean, I don't know if you guys watch. Dean is very popular on TikTok. I think he also has a YouTube channel. But he is a MAGA debater, and he's young. And he shreds them over phone or Discord or however he does it. He's really good at what he does. He's pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining when he does it as well. Pretty cool kid. Pretty cool. Charlie Kirk bowing down to him, just being a puss, dodged him. That's funny.
So we're now learning of a private meeting held earlier this week between Trump and CEOs of companies including Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, in which the executives warned Trump that his tariffs would disrupt supply chains and lead to empty shelves in the coming weeks. The CEOs told Trump that prices were about to skyrocket and shelves would start looking empty within just weeks. The companies have publicly warned Trump before that his tariffs would cause problems, but this private meeting was a major escalation to show Trump how serious they are about the effects of his policies. Apparently, the meeting instilled fear in Trump, which resulted in his shifting language regarding tariffs over the past few days, which is now only causing more confusion. We're going to continue to follow what's going on here and so much more. So make sure you're following our account and add the Midas Touch podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So we're now learning of a private meeting held earlier this week.
National Lampoon making a movie. Skip Food, you're fucking hilarious. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking at chat. I was late on that one. That's hilarious. Oh, shit.
Fox News poll at 100 days job approval compared to other presidents. There you see the president at 44%, and you see his...
Fox News isn't even bothering to try to hide it now. Their pollsters are saying he's a piece of shit. He's the worst. By far the worst. I hope Trump supporters are watching this. This part. Not my shit. Well, fine. Watch my shit. Fuck you. This right here. Fox. Are you watching this, MAGA? Are you out there lurking, MAGA? Fuck you and your stupid following. Nobody likes him. Look. You. Look. Nobody likes him. Nobody. Not even your Fox News.
His first term at 45% at this mark, the 100-day mark. We have other new polls that are revealing some concerns about the economy. Let's talk about that. The Fox News poll at 100 days.
More of this. 43% next week. 42 the week after. How low can you go? Get low. Getting low. Gonna clap them cheeks.
Full disclosure, I'm an
ex-Christian asked a pastor tough questions.
An agnostic atheist.
And you have a great radio voice. I'm telling you
thank
that
you.
right now.
What
you
an
should be
ironic
doing
blessing.
podcasts, man.
I may. Who
Okay,
knows?
good.
I used to aspire to be an apologist like you, but unfortunately that backfired.
Why?
Well, you see, I read the Bible, and that's kind of why I want to talk
But
to you
you got
about.
the voice.
I know. This is evidence against your position. But I want to ask you a simple question. Do you believe in witchcraft?
Do I believe? What do you mean? Like, do I think it's a good thing?
Well, do you believe witches
Do I believe in a
exist?
demonic realm that can be accessed? Yes.
Well, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, do you believe in witchcraft?
Define what you mean by witchcraft.
A witch. Witches. Do you believe in witches? Like the Witch of Endor, for example?
Oh, well, in the biblical sense, yes, of course,
Right.
yeah.
And do you believe in giants?
I'm a New York Giant fan.
Right. Right.
And
But
our
I'd
next
appreciate-
quarterback may be your guy.
Right.
All
This
right.
is very amusing, but
Okay,
I
all right.
want a serious answer.
What do you mean by giants?
Well, giants, like the Nephilim described in
Well,
Genesis.
yes, there's been some archaeological discoveries which suggest, yeah, there were 8-foot, 9-foot people. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not heard of any of that. And in fact, I've researched the matter, and I can tell you there is no archaeological
Well,
evidence for that.
let's say there isn't, because I don't have it on my. I usually have
right.
most of this stuff.
I
here.
wouldn't expect you to
Okay.
just know that off the cuff.
Yeah, let's say there isn't. Does that mean they didn't exist?
Well, that there's no evidence for them?
Yeah.
Well, there's no good reason to believe there are, but you do.
Well, they could exist. See, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence.
Right, but if you don't have any evidence, you probably shouldn't believe it.
Unless Jesus believed it and Jesus rose from the dead, and I just have a personal policy. If somebody rises from the dead, I just believe whatever the guy says.
Does it logically follow that raising from the dead makes everything you say true?
If Jesus claimed to be God and proved to be God, and God is the standard of truth, yes, it does.
How does that prove being God?
How does it prove being God that
For
Jesus rose
for
from the dead?
example, if I stood here, claimed I was God, died tomorrow, and was risen 3 days later, does that make me God? Does that prove my claims?
Well, if you had predicted it long in advance, if you were sinless, if you did 35 other miracles over 3 years, and then you did that, yeah.
That's not proof, though. It does not logically follow that because I can
Well,
raise from the
the
dead.
question is, what do you mean by proof?
Well, it doesn't conclusively demonstrate that I am God.
Well, what would it demonstrate?
Well, it would demonstrate that I have supernatural abilities, just like the demons and angels described in the Bible.
Yeah, but you see, Jesus also claimed to be God. He claimed to be the great I am of Exodus 3:14. He claimed to be the Son of Man of Daniel 7. These are all divine figures.
I understand that's what he
Yeah.
claimed, but that's why we're all here, or at least why I'm here, is because I don't hold that to be true, and I don't think that any of the evidence you presented, or at least citing the supernatural, proves the claim that Jesus is the
Well,
Son
it
of
depends
God.
on what you mean by proof, right? Someone can prove something beyond a reasonable doubt, but that doesn't mean that anybody necessarily needs to accept it,
Well,
right?
That's right. You can choose whether or not you want to believe
That's right.
something.
That's all we're saying here. So, but I'm trying to figure out what your standard of proof is. What kind of proof would you need to think that Jesus was God?
Well, that's an interesting question because, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how anyone could prove that they are omnipotent and all-knowing.
Well, you could predict the future.
Well, predicting the future, I mean, the weatherman, more or less, is able to do that, but not perfectly. No, the weatherman, hey, okay, the weatherman has he has a degree in meteorology.
Okay.
But none of the biblical prophecies, like, for example, Jesus prophesied that the generation would pass away before they saw these wonders, where the blood would, or the moon would turn to blood and stars would fall out of the sky. That prophecy is demonstratively false.
Okay, hold on, Tony. Don't get a little too strident here, because that's not demonstrably false, because what Jesus is quoting in Matthew chapter 24 is Isaiah chapter 13, when Babylon was overthrown back in about 511 or 516 BC. And this is apocalyptic language to talk about a terrible time. He doesn't literally mean that the sun is going to go black and the moon's going to turn to blood and the stars are going to fall from the sky. That's apocalyptic prophecy language to talk about it being a terrible time. And it was a terrible time in 70 AD. Jesus said that in 30 AD. It happened in 70 AD. That's a generation.
This almost seems scripted how they're going back and forth, right? Because it's just so fluidic how he's has an answer for his comments. It seems very almost scripted, but it's pretty. The engagement here of how they're doing it seems really, really well, almost rehearsed. Almost rehearsed.
That's when those things occurred.
Jesus described that as being the second coming, or the establishment of his kingdom on earth is when that happened.
Jesus said to Caiaphas, "You will see the Son of Man coming with power on the clouds." And what he meant was that the judgment on Israel was coming for them crucifying him. And that's what happened in 70 AD. He didn't mean the end of the world, although some Christians will say there's a dual prophecy there. There's always a short term, and then there's a long term. The short term was 70 AD. The long term is still yet to come. That's the way prophecy works in the Bible.
So whenever the prophecy doesn't come true, it's a metaphor, is how I understand this.
No, it did come true in 70 AD, but there's a further prophecy later. Same thing is true with Isaiah 7:14 with the virgin birth. There was a birth of Isaiah's son, and then there's a future birth coming down the road later. Then you go to Isaiah 9:6, it says, the child will be born who will be called God. And then Isaiah 53 talks about the suffering servant is God. And after the suffering servant dies, he will see the light of life, a reference to the resurrection, which is then seen 700 years later.
Jesus, once again, we're in a vicious circle here. Jesus claimed that he satisfied that prophecy, but also you have the prophecy that...
the pastor's stuck on a defense and cannot win.
I believe he would be a Nazarite or a Nazarene, but Nazareth and Nazarene I don't believe are the same thing. I forget which passage it is in Matthew, but I saw that the closest in my cross-reference, because I have a Bible.
Matthew chapter 2, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And it says that he was born, don't quote me, but as a Nazarene, as it was prophesied. But there is no prophecy
there's no
of
Old
that.
Testament prophecy. What he's doing is and I haven't studied that passage directly myself, but my co-author has, Dr. Norman Geisler, in his book, The Big Book of Bible Difficulties, he deals with that, so I'd have to go back.
Oh, God, he's a co-author, selling books, authors, selling books, buy my book. God, that's so cringe.
And read what he says there. But I remember him saying something like what he's talking about there is he is pulling together a bunch of references in the Old Testament to say he will be a Nazarene.
Right. Well, I have to respect the time of the other people.
Well, thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Tony. Why are you not a Christian?
I'm not a Christian. Well, I was a Christian at one time, but I would cease to be a Christian after I began reading the Old Testament, and it occurred to me that, for example, the witch example, if somebody told me they saw a witch, I wouldn't believe it, but when I read it in the Bible, suddenly I was compelled to believe it. And
so if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian?
Well, yes, of course I would.
Okay, so let's suppose that the Bible has errors in it, and the witch of Endor didn't happen, but Jesus rose from the dead. Would you be a Christian?
No, I wouldn't, because the only way I know about the resurrection of Jesus is through the Bible.
Well, no, not necessarily true. There wouldn't even be a New Testament if Jesus hadn't risen from the dead, and there wouldn't even be a church unless the resurrection occurred.
Did I misunderstand your question? Did you say if Jesus was not risen, but the Bible wasn't?
No. If Jesus had risen from the dead, but you can't bring yourself to believe everything in the Old Testament. You can be a Christian and think some things in the Old Testament didn't happen. You can still be a Christian and do that. I think when you're doing that, you're disagreeing with Jesus, which is never wise. But you can do that.
Yes.
So just leave that option open if you would.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. I was looking over the comments here. Pastor spoke like a true con man for one, and you can't use the Bible to prove the Bible is real from another. The great faith debate. faith debate. That was a good engagement, though. That was a good back and forth. That was a pretty... I wish I could see politicians debate like that, where it wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming at Jasmine Crockett. But that was a form of a good debate. I wanted to show that I like debating. I like debates. Haven't done any on stream yet. That might be a little much. But I used to do debate in school, and I do. I'm also trained. I have training in interview and interrogation, and I love engagements like that. That was a good one. I saw that. I'm like, man, this is a kind of off topic, but really good engagement. Really good debate. Almost looks scripted. Like Blonde Bombsheller said, a good debate can have an excellent flow. That flowed really well to me. Really well. All right, where are we?
I'm a Daryl Issa constituent.
And more from Daryl Issa in San Diego. Daryl Issa was a no-show today at his McDonald's Freedom Fries publicity stunt. But 175 to 200 of his constituents showed up anyway.
Really tired of watching him just do the MAGA thing to the max, man. He's passing all the wrong bills. Here he's probably going to support HR 22 and 128, S128, and he didn't even show up to this thing where he's supposed to be, so.
What are those two bills that you're talking about?
HR 22 and S128 are the voter suppression bills that they're talking about, making you everyone prove your citizenship at the poll, blah, blah, blah. It's just voter suppression crap. That's what got us here in the first place. I'm a Daryl Issa constituent. And
we got HR 22 right here. I could read that on stream. I'm going to put it aside for later. What was the other one he said?
And I'm really tired of watching citizenship at the poll, blah, blah, blah. It's just voting about making you everyone prove your citizenship. HR 22 and S128 are the...
S128. I'm going to pull that up and research that a little more. All right, I got it pulled up. I don't even know if they passed yet, but I'm going to check that out later.
Here are images of...
Oh my god, have you guys seen the memes in this shit? Have you guys seen this? Have you seen the one with... Oh my god, can I find it?
Of an event we didn't know was going to happen, a meeting between US President Donald Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a meeting on the margin...
My edible is kicking in pretty hard right now.
...of Pope Francis' funeral. They're sitting inside the Vatican, inside St. Peter's Basilica, and joining them there's Emmanuel Macron, the French president, Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister. Ukrainian officials say the meeting with President Trump was very productive, lasted about 15 minutes, but in one of the images there, Emmanuel Macron has his hand on Volodymyr Zelensky's shoulders. Very powerful image, remembering that just a few months ago, back in February, the last time President Zelensky met President Trump, it was a tempestuous meeting. The US president pressuring to accept peace on terms he didn't want to accept, telling him that he was...
This shit right here, where I just put it. Oh, right here? Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ, where's the suit? This is a naked fella that have all the cards. I can bonk you in the nuts from here, Krasnov. I love that shit. Oh, God.
He wasn't appreciative enough of the U.S. support. A tempestuous meeting. Zelensky now having the backing of the French president, the British Prime Minister in those talks, and the symbolism writ larger than even just being in the Vatican. While Pope Francis' funeral is being prepared, a pope who wanted peace in Ukraine, who was all about peace in his life, that this meeting should take place, so symbolic.
Did I see Macron refuse to shake Trump's hand? Yeah. Did you see the Polish first lady absolutely just dog him on shaking his hand? Oh my God. Where is that? Did I put that on here? I watched it earlier. Where did I have that? I saved it somewhere. It was, dude, the look he gave her was just priceless. I think I bookmarked it on Threads. Was it Threads? Did I find that on Threads? I got a lot of social media, guys. Like a lot. How do I check my bookmarks on Threads? There's a little button there. Do I click here? No. I didn't repost it. Insights? No. Followers? No. What's this little... What's this? More? Saved. Saved? Oh, no, but I did save something else. We're going to get into some more fucking epic cringe. This is in the fucking White House, guys. You know, I'm no expert, but I feel like Jesus wouldn't feel too comfortable going into the White House and having a ceremony with them. I feel like I feel like they might try to kill him. 100%. But yeah, there's your White House. White House indoctrination. This is coming. This is how they're going to steal all the Christian votes and keep them suppressed in the Republican Party by little stunts and stages like this. Pretty disgusting how many people are going to mislead. I know many of them they have. Pretty filthy. Filthy tactic. Filthy. Alright, let's get into some fun stuff, though. Putting a real grizzly bear in my house and hiring an exterminator to catch it. This shit is hilarious.
We don't have this coon problem or possum or something. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, about a week ago is when I first seen him. He's right in here. I don't feel comfortable going in there with him and stuff.
Oh my God, you're not. Dude, there's a bear.
I haven't been able to get him out yet, so. Can we get him off of our walls or something? I mean, what do we got to do here?
Are you kidding me? I mean,
no, I'm telling you, I've been trying to get him out. He won't get out. Well, you ain't used to this kind of thing?
No. We can't just open the door and let it out either.
Look at him. He's tearing that cushion right up. Biggest dog I've seen is a greyhound. I ain't never seen that.
That's a bear.
Oh my God. That's a bear. Oh, that's great. That's so funny. Oh yeah, we got it in. I know everybody's already heard this, but I'm gonna play it anyways because it's super important.
The Trump administration signaling a major escalation in its deportation efforts. The FBI arresting an American judge accusing her of helping an undocumented migrant in her courtroom evade authorities. They say she helped the migrant get out the door. Here's Pierre Thomas tonight.
Tonight, a sitting state court judge is facing federal charges and possibly years in prison in what critics are saying is a major escalation in the Trump administration's effort to pressure officials.
Take a second and enjoy your 420, everybody. It's 427, but cheers.
To assist in deportation efforts.
Judge, anything to say about this?
Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan seen here, leaving court after being arrested by the FBI. Dugan faces multiple charges for allegedly obstructing ICE agents trying to arrest an undocumented immigrant. According to a newly unsealed indictment on April 18th, Dugan was visibly upset and had a confrontational, angry demeanor when she and another judge confronted a group of federal agents that had come to her courthouse to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, an undocumented Mexican citizen who was in court to face misdemeanor domestic violence charges.
Well, there we go. Now the right's going to spin it. Oh, they're letting all the wife beaters go. Blah, blah, blah. These little blackberry lemonade gummies I got here are fire. These things are delish. God, those are real good. I wish I could just eat this whole thing, but I would be talking to Jesus tonight if I did. And not Jesus, not this guy.
Agent said she told him to go to see the chief judge of the courthouse and went back to her courtroom where Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through a jury door.
If you commit a crime in this country, you're going to be held accountable. Doesn't matter. We're going to prosecute you. No one is above the law, not even a judge.
No one is above the law except for Pete Hegseth, right? And all of his cronies.
Dugan's attorney saying in court she wholeheartedly protests the arrest and believes it was not made in the interest of public safety. Overnight, another judicial-related arrest. In Las Cruces, New Mexico, the FBI taking former county magistrate Joel Cano and his wife Nancy into custody, held without bond, accused of harboring 3 Venezuelan gang members on their property.
Bro, what the fuck? This shit's getting wild. What? What? Did I just hear that right?
3 Venezuelan and his wife. The FBI taking former county magistrate Joel Cano and his wife Nancy into custody, held without bond, accused of harboring 3 Venezuelan gang members on their property.
David, it's extremely rare for a judge to
without bond. That's a little sus.
Be charged with obstructing an immigration case. That Wisconsin judge is vowing to fight the charges, but David, if convicted, she faces up to 6 years in prison.
More shenanigans with the FBI getting involved now, or yeah, FBI getting involved now. Man, they're weaponizing our legal system so openly now. It's pathetic. So openly.
Trump is resetting the world stage on that.
He's resetting something.
Fuck off. By the way, our allies are not abandoning us. Yes, they are.
They literally are. Liars. They literally are. They are laughing at us.
I talk frequently to ambassadors from countries of our allies. I can assure you, they know that they have been mistreating us in a number of ways, and they're going to come to the table. There's going to be some better trade. You bow to Trump.
Our allies are concerned for us. Our country is going to be.
Lick that boot, Moran. Lick that boot. Trump is resetting the world.
The jury door opens the same hallway as the courtroom entrance. I guess that depends on the courthouse. Is that coming from their specific courthouse? Because the one that we have around here, they come through a different door. There's numerous doors. The bailiff comes from one direction, the jurors come from another, and the judge comes from another as well. Project 2025, why is anyone surprised, right? We fucking read that we all watched that shit on Mercado's stream too. That shit's wild. It's coming to fruition.
You know the one thing about the shop I love is the human interaction.
All Georgie boy.
Or shut up at this point. To set the record straight and put this in the record, I will not be resigning. Oh, I was not a drag queen in Brazil, guys. I was young and I had fun at a festival. Sue me for having a life. What's your name?
Sue me for having a life. George Santos has been sentenced to 87 months after pleading guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft for defrauding donors and stealing identities to fund his campaign. I believe the exact words were to fund his illicit lifestyle. I believe that's what he said.
Is it true that you have an OnlyFans page and you can peel a banana with your feet?
I don't have one. I just discovered what OnlyFans was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. All I'm saying, Canty, next time the fundraiser's down, we do some weird shit with bananas, boy. I'm down. Squid little lotion bottle, squish that thing in between the toes. Little ASMR. Hell yeah. Watch the money roll in.
It was brought up in a discussion in my office.
You just can't
It could be a pick your fruit day. Huh? If the donation's big enough.
Santos.
What about like a corn for the corn? Never mind.
Santos.
You just said you don't belong here.
Given the fact that he's under ethics investigation, he should be sitting in the back row and staying quiet.
I think it's reprehensible that the senator would say such a thing to me in the demeanor.
He's fucked. Santos is cooked. So long, Santos. You're gone. You're gone. Gone, gone, gone.
On Pete Hegseth, well, we made everyone RSVP to learn the location of tonight's event, and then I learned that Pete Hegseth had just disclosed it publicly anyway. When we get back to Congress next week, articles of impeachment need to be filed. They should have been filed a couple of weeks.
Seriously, like, I feel like Pete Hegseth's gonna get it big time from both sides of the party. They're gonna get him the fuck out of there. He's fucked up too many times.
Weeks ago. What are we doing? And we have enough veterans and national security officers in our party who should be the ones leading this. And for the sake of Santos, we can't have this guy putting out national security information every time he wants to open a group chat.
Taking his wife everywhere. Come on.
Yeah.
Make sure to invite Kylie. Mexican Girl needs to send us those red nanners. That's too much. Too much. Hegseth is way too leaky. He's gonna go. Guys, it's coming soon. He's learning his lesson. People are starting to realize he's unqualified for this position. He's unqualified for anything. Fundraising. Fuck. Oh, shit.
Yesterday, on Thursday, DNC Chairman Ken Martin decided to go ahead and change the rules of the DNC. And the new rules say that if you're anybody inside the DNC, not naming any specific names, but if you're in the DNC and you use your outside organization to fund primary challengers for Democratic incumbents, then you're fired from the DNC. That seems like an oddly specific rule, right? Like, why are we doing that? Well, for those of you who have not been paying attention, the reason Ken Martin made this decision was because David Hogg, the co-vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, announced last week that he would be using his organization, which of course is called Leaders We Deserve, to spend $20 million to fund primary challengers to older, out-of-touch Democratic candidates. You know, the incumbents that have been there for 20, 30 plus years, who have completely lost touch with the American public, who have no will to fight, and he was going to have his group spend $20 million to fund younger, energetic primary challengers. But now, he has basically given this ultimatum: you can fund these primary challengers, but if you do, you lose your job at the DNC. Now, when Hogg came out with this idea last week, the Democratic establishment, you know, the old people he's talking about, they got super pissed. And 5 of them spoke anonymously, of course, because, again, they have no courage to speak of, to Axios, where they said, this is a horrible idea. We don't like it. This is dumb and stupid. James Carville, that dinosaur.
Oh, comments. Our political system is a choice between the guy who was kneeling on George Floyd's neck and the guy who stood there and watched him do it. Ooh.
That looks like a lizard, came out and said that Hogg was a contemptible twerp, which is a hell of a description for a mass shooting survivor, but sure, way to keep it classy there, Carville. So, Hogg now has this choice. Do I stay in this organization that is obviously terrified of change? Or do I follow my gut? Do I follow my principles? Do I take my good ideas to people that actually give a damn about them? I think the answer is clear. I want David Hogg at that DNC. I want him in charge. But if that means he has to sell out his ideals, then I want him to step away, and I'll go with him. I will absolutely support whatever endeavor he goes down because he has ideas. These other people, James Carville, his idea this year, we all know what it was, right? Play dead, Democrats. Roll over and let the Republicans sink themselves. Don't come up with any ideas. Don't pass any legislation. Just be there and do nothing.
Is the Democratic Party just as gone as the Republican Party? Is this getting reformed? Is this going to be a new party come 2028? What's it going to be called? Who's going to be in charge of it? Is it happening in front of our eyes? I feel like it is. I feel like a lot of people are like, you know what? Fuck both of these groups. We're going to do something else. And it might be necessary to beat the MAGA party. To beat the madness. It might be 3 times bigger. Shit. But they're not going to do it from a centralized standpoint. It's going to be a progressive or far left radical standpoint. Or a mix between the two. But if you're going to fight radicalism, you have to use radicalism.
That is the brilliant idea of the establishment Democrats. We have Democrats that have literally died in office in the last few years because they wouldn't retire 15 years ago when they should have. I mean, hell, even on the Republican side, Mitch McConnell, probably not going to make it. And he will die as a senator. Nancy Pelosi, there's a good chance she dies as a member of the House from old age. The American public is on David Hogg's side. Hell, the Democratic Party is on Hogg's side. 72% of them came out in a recent poll and said we need to abandon the centrist ways. A vast majority of them say our representatives are too old. Hogg understands it because he's not an establishment tool. But unfortunately, the establishment tools won the day, and now Hogg has an exceptionally difficult choice to make. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the modern Democratic Party, and these idiots wonder how we keep losing to people like Trump.
Very fucking good take, a very good breakdown. And yeah, I agree with this guy. I agree. I saw that, I'm like, man, that was fucking spot on. Spot on. Really good take there. So, I still think the midterms are going to be a good sweep for Blue. They have to. They have to. Trump already looks defeated and old and tired and worn out. I don't think he's going to be able to rally the Republican Party during the midterms and have endorsements out there like he did before. I feel like they're going to be pretty exhausted, but like I said, we can't keep our guard down. We have to have a healthy fear that they're going to sweep again. So, healthy fear is good.
So when it comes to Trump, do you dislike his policies or him as a person or both?
I don't dislike Trump as a person in the sense that I've never met the guy. So I think he has a lot of personality traits that make him completely unsuited to being president. And also, I think his policy prescriptions, to the extent that they exist and he understands them, which is a different part of it. A lot of the stuff Trump talks about, he still doesn't know how tariffs work. We're 8 years into this thing, 9 years in. He still thinks China pays the tariffs when they're paid by American companies.
Yeah, I've seen him talk about tariffs.
Very confused guy.
Wait, so China's not paying tariffs right now?
The tariffs are paid by the American companies that import the Chinese goods. That's the way it's such a fundamental, and I see you looking a little confused on this one.
Yeah, I'm confused.
This is the way tariffs work. What Trump did is place tariffs on Chinese imports. By the time the imports get here, China's been paid for the stuff. Maybe they get net 120 terms, right? But in a sense, China has already transacted.
So what if AOC and Bernie end up not being candidates? Let's say they run and they're not the Democratic choice. Are they going to run independent? And dude, they might have a good shot at that, or have their own party to fight the oligarchy party. Who knows? Or maybe they're the choice. Maybe they're already getting ready. I don't know. There's going to be a lot to say. Yeah, there are a lot of good Dems. Absolutely. I know a couple of their representatives that are retired now. They're fucking amazing human beings that support Ukraine. Ken Cooley, for one. Ken Cooley's at almost every rally, Ukrainian rally down in Sacramento. He was the representative for Rancho, and yeah, for years he did a whole bunch of other stuff in politics. Great guy.
The American company who brings the goods in pays the tariffs.
Really?
You're kidding right now.
No, I thought he said he was raising the tariffs by 50 to 100% for Chinese imports.
You got to clip this. I'm begging you. You got to clip this and send it to me.
No, I'm genuinely
None of this
confused.
stuff is getting cut out, right?
No.
Oh, my God.
We post everything.
Please. The tariffs are paid by the company that does the importing. So if you want to build a building in the U.S. and you import Chinese steel, you pay China for the steel, you pay the U.S. government the tariff. This is why it's inflationary. Economists have looked at Trump's tariff proposal and said it would make stuff more expensive for Americans by adding the cost of the tariffs to the total cost of production. So that's the way tariffs work. A lot of people don't seem to know how tariffs work, which is sad because this is how people end up getting sucked into Trump's vortex. He says something that sounds good. I'm going to punish China with tariffs.
Yeah.
In this case, that sounds good. Chinese tariffs.
It's the same reason we had a long-standing tariff on Chinese electric vehicles, because they're cheaper, and word on the street is they're just as efficient, if not more, than the ones that we use in the United States. And that tariff's been there for years, I think before Biden even.
They're paid by the American companies.
Wow.
That's why it's so damaging.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Send me this part of the
No, I will.
conversation.
I genuinely had no idea. I thought China was paying those.
Yep. No, China's not paying them.
Yeah, I thought they were, though.
They're not, yeah.
So why would he do that? I'm confused.
You'd have to ask him.
So when it comes to Trump, do you dislike his policy?
This guy literally had no clue what tariffs are. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing.
Loud applause for President Zelensky of Ukraine. Wow. The crowd is erupting for Zelensky as they see him, because the crowd has these large television monitors. And as soon as the shot of Zelensky was shown, there was this huge applause.
What a fucking awesome dude. Man, I would love to meet him and just have a cup of tea with him and talk to him. Wouldn't that be amazing? Just one day. That would be great. It would be. I'm sure he'd have me rolling hysterically laughing too, because I heard he's a pretty funny dude.
I want everyday life to be better.
Man of the year. He might be the man of the century. Might be the man of the century. I can't think of a greater man in my lifetime that I've known. I can't. Not in my lifetime. I can't.
That's what they want too. You get up in the morning, yeah, but importantly, like all the controversies are over what that's like.
So Pete Buttigieg is still in it too. They're looking at him maybe for a run, but right now I think his standings are a little bit lower than Gavin Newsom, who I don't think should run. I think Newsom's at like a 16%, and this guy's like at 13.
Like, I want you to be able to get up in the morning, and the first thing you do is you commute to work, and by the way, if you're on an EV, I want that to be affordable for you, or if you're on public transit, not to get back into the subway situation, but I want you to have good public transit to get to where you're going. And then when you get to that job, I want you to be paid well. And if you're about to have a kid, I want you to know that you're going to have parental leave when you have that kid. And if you don't want to have a kid, I want you to have the right to choose whether to have a kid, which means access to birth control and abortion and those things that give you the freedom to decide on that. And if you already have a kid, when you pick them up at school, I want that school to be good, not having its funding slashed while they set fire to the Department of Education. And then when you get home, I want you to be in a neighborhood that is safe and where you can breathe the air, because we didn't let them get rid of the Clean Air Act. And you don't have to think for one moment about whether the air you breathe or the water you drink is clean and clear, which actually takes a lot, because it means the government has to constrain those actors that would make you unfree by polluting the air and polluting the water. And then when you go to bed, I want you to know that your family's going to be fine, even if it's family like mine, despite there being some Supreme Court justice who wants to obliterate your family because it doesn't match his interpretation of his religion. Like, that's the life I want everybody to be able to live.
I like his words, but his mannerisms are concerning me. I saw a little signs of deception or scriptiveness, like someone wrote him what he needs to say to like appeasement. like an appeasement speech. A lot of fluffiness, and the way his eyes were moving. I'm not saying he's lying, but there was a lot of things I didn't like in his mannerisms in that.
Yeah, I think we can deliver that.
But we'll see. I'd rather see AOC, that's for damn sure.
Mr. President, do you know what AUKUS is, sir? Do you know what the AUKUS alliance is, sir?
News now just in from the US, where President Donald Trump has taken a moment when asked about AUKUS for clarification before then praising the Australian alliance.
Be discussing AUKUS with the Prime Minister, sir.
What does that mean?
AUKUS, the Australia-US Defence Alliance.
Yeah, well, we'll be discussing that. We've had another great relationship, and you have too, with Australia.
Yeah.
We've had a very good relationship with Australia.
Let's bring in Jonathan Kersey.
Yeah, it's a $368 billion alliance with Australia.
Live at the White House, Jono, the president has just emerged.
Yeah, and strangely and bizarrely, just out the front of the West Wing doors a short time ago with somebody who appeared to be an official from Parks Department. They were pointing at things on the ground. The president does not normally come out this way unless he is greeting a head of state, but that was not the case. So we took the opportunity to ask him whether he wanted to clarify any issues around his AUKUS comments this morning that have attracted plenty of attention here in the United States and back in Australia. Here is some of that exchange. Mr. President, do you know what AUKUS is, sir? Do you know what the AUKUS alliance is, sir?
He doesn't have a fucking clue. He doesn't have a fucking He doesn't have a fucking clue. Absolutely clueless.
What's the AUKUS alliance, sir? Do you fully support
It's a whale. It's a whale.
it? Are you fully committed to the AUKUS alliance, sir?
Yes, I'm gonna save all the whales, just like we saved the dogs and the cats. All the orcas will be saved.
So the president there going back into the West Wing of the White House, some 30 or 40 metres away. It may well have been, Jane, that he did not hear or perhaps even understand the question. His Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told me earlier that maybe they should be limiting questions here to Americans the president can understand.
So, Jono, just to clarify,
Fucking unreal.
how would you say AUKUS in an American accent?
Well, if you were to say AUKUS, it may be AUKUS or AUKUS or AUKUS. And I think the president may well have perhaps at times thought about orcas, which are killer whales. And if the president was being asked about killer whales...
All right, Aussies, I need to know, how do you say aurora? Aurora. How do you say aurora in Australian? Aurora.
Well, then I think we've turned a new page in the history of this country.
And you can understand why he said, what's that? There you go, Jono. Never a dull moment at the White House. Thank you.
Well, that President Trump out there to save the orcas. Saving the orcas. He's saving the whales.
In front of reporters, Representative Yoho called me, and I quote, bitch. I am here because I have to show my
Tariff the whales?
parents that I am their daughter and that they did not raise me to accept abuse from men. You want to tell people that their concern and their desire for clean air and clean water is elitist? Tell that to the families in Flint whose kids have their blood is ascending in lead levels. Their brains are damaged for the rest of their lives. Call them elitist. In your ongoing dinner parties with far-right figures, some of who advance the conspiracy theory that white supremacy is a hoax, did you discuss so-called social media bias against conservatives, and do you believe there is a bias?
I don't remember everything that was in the question.
That's all right, I'll move on. We went to the cloakroom, he's not in the cloakroom, he's not in the Capitol, he's not in the Russell Building, he's not in the floor of the Senate, and 800,000 people don't have their paychecks. So where's Mitch? And in front of...
Dude, she's got so much energy. God. Strong, direct, aggressive, straight to the point, compassionate, friendly. I like it. She got my vote. All right, fight nearly breaks out at Brad Sherman, CA32 Town Hall.
That's why we're gonna budget this. Up yours, you fucking ass. Fuck you. You're the asshole. Are you anti-Semitic? No. Then how does you support Israel? They're killing children. No, but what about Hamas? What about Hamas? That's a war crime. No, it's not. That's not a war crime. Collective punishment's a war crime. A war crime. Yes, it is. Come on, stop. Fine. Yeah, that's
Oh, they almost broke out in a fight. Imagine that. Imagine that. How long do you think it's going to be until we just see him throw fisticuffs in these town halls? Closer to the midterms? Fuck, we're not even near the midterms. You think they'll just cut off all town halls and be like, no, it's a safety risk. Can't do it. I know they're already talking about it.
Why are there no calls for impeachment? This is unacceptable. I will not live in an authoritative country, and neither will any of these people. You can do more. I like you, and I will vote for you if you are brave, and you do what we need. We need him impeached. We need him removed.
There is no doubt that this president's conduct has already exceeded any prior standard for impeachment by the United States House of Representatives. I agree with you. But as I said at the beginning, I also have no choice but to be candid with you about the situation that we face and the tools that are at our disposal. As strongly as I agree with you, ma'am. And I regret if this is an unwelcome response, but my job is to be honest with you. The only way to achieve what you want to achieve is to have a majority in the United States House of Representatives.
Why are
Ooh, it could happen. It could happen. Keep the faith, guys. Keep the faith. What, midterms? Got real ID? Fuck. Yes, I do.
Are there no calls for impeachment?
Turn now to the toxic scare killing dozens of
All
dolphins.
right, hey, this was new to me. I didn't know about this. We got toxic algae bloom happened off the coast of California, Southern California. I didn't realize the science behind it. I knew we have algae blooms where I live, like in the lake here. Really, really bad ones, depending on the time of the year and the conditions. But there's certain factors that I didn't anticipate to add to it.
Dolphins, sea lions, and now whales have died as well. Environmental officials calling the shoreline an extreme danger zone along parts of California. ABC's Matt Gutman on the scene.
Tonight, those distressing scenes up and down the Southern California coastline. Hundreds of marine animals sickened and dying from a toxic algae bloom, stretching all the way from San Diego to San Luis Obispo. In just the past week, researchers say they've recovered more than 50 dead or dying dolphins in Los Angeles County.
It's the worst we've ever seen here in Southern California. It's unprecedented.
The bloom produces a neurological toxin called domoic acid, which scientists say can cause affected animals to become more aggressive and suffer from seizures and disorientation. Experts say sea lions and dolphins are especially vulnerable.
The fish are eating the small plankton that includes the algae, unfortunately, collecting that in their bodies, and then the sea lions and dolphins, and now we've also seen whales being affected.
David, algal blooms are natural occurrences, but scientists tell us that the debris from those devastating wildfires and fertilizer runoff after those atmospheric rivers this winter have exacerbated the problem, hitting marine animals especially hard.
Turn now.
No, this never would have happened if Trump was president. Oh, wait. Hey, I got these Ukrainian cookies here. These are Lovita cocoa cherry flavor. Check those out. Huh. Let me get a review going for you here. Interesting. The cocoa has a really strong, almost like a tobacco flavor to it. And the cherry is super sweet. Lovita jelly cookies, cocoa biscuits with cherry flavored jelly filling. Really good after an edible or two. I like them. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite Ukrainian candies, but or sweets, but I'm gonna have another one. That's for sure.
Pull him the out of here right now, and I'll put him in his chair and I'll plug it in. I got an electric outlet in my Chevy.
So I think people should be asking the question: how many people would you like here? How many people died? How were their families affected when they were probably dying of some illness? So yes, he died, and I'm sorry that a father and a husband died. But how many people was he responsible for dying?
Look at it as yes. Go back later and work images the way you want.
Tone Roshans are so good. Yeah, Poroshenko was a better chocolate maker than president, apparently.
What should happen to Luigi today?
You're joking, right? Pull him the out of here right now, and I'll put him in his chair and I'll plug it in. I got an electric outlet in my Chevy. I'll plug it right in.
What do you think happened with the case?
That's what I hope happens. And again, when I told everybody, it's just sad. It's these people can just keep killing because they become heroes. Sorry. You know, you got all the supporters out there, these jobless, soulless supporters of a murder, a known murder, a guilty murderer, murdered an innocent man who has 2 children and a wife, and everybody's making him the hero.
His contact information. But stories like that are one of the reasons that we're out here, because it's horrible, it's not acceptable. We're here for
basically, if you go to
American right, and if we don't have that, it's pretty bad for the country as a whole, I'd say. So that's...
A little back and forth there with Luigi. There's Free Luigi and then there's Fry Luigi. Yeah, that guy wanted to fry him right then and there. And then you got, look at that getup. It's based. Based. Fry him or free him. That's where we are now with America. Eventually, you'll just be able to make that determination on your smartphone. We'll just have like nationwide juror boxes where we just vote on people's existences. Oh, this shocked me. This dude, he gets some shit. Well, he's just out here trying to help people. I'm sure there's two sides of the coin, you know, but check this out.
Cracker, why don't you feed your kids? You're just a Trump supporting
Kids look orange like Donald Trump.
It's really unfortunate the things we have to deal with in today's society. Here I was trying to help this grandpa with this overgrown lawn. He had all kinds of issues with his truck breaking down and everything. And as I was weed eating down by the road, I had a couple that showed up and were yelling racial slurs at me. Not only that, but they were yelling and attacking my kids, saying they were too skinny. This is completely
Pretty sure they said he was a Trump supporter too. Interesting.
Unacceptable when all we're trying to do is help out the community and help this grandpa. If you enjoy these videos, please do us a huge favor and smash that follow button, because it helps us continue to help others for free.
Does anybody know the backstory of this guy? Because I feel while watching these videos, I feel like there's a lot more to it than he's showing. Russell Corey.
Much love.
Watch, he does these little TikToks. Just cleans yards, and he's like the world's biggest piece of shit when he puts the camera down. Yeah, I've been picking up on his videos. They popped up on my feed, and I found them pretty interesting. And they look pretty one-sided, you know, for sure, but interesting. Feel like it's scripted most of the time? Yeah, same. Like that's his cousin and his freaking whatever. Throwing him fucking an apple for lunch.
All right, question again. How many nations, wealthy nations in the world, do not guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Anybody know the answer? Which country? All right. Now, You're not going to hear much about that on corporate television. You're not going to hear much about that in the United States Congress. We're the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all people. 85 million of us are uninsured or underinsured. 60,000 die each year because we can't get to a doctor on time. That's the bad news. You know what the good news is? The insurance companies are making tens of billions of dollars every year denying you coverage. The drug companies charge us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. So how does it happen that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we're spending twice as much per capita as the people in other countries, and yet we have one of the worst outcomes, healthcare outcomes, of any country on earth? And it gets back to money in politics and the domination of big money, in this case insurance companies, drug companies, over the Republican and Democratic.
I want to try to get some more of our audience questions. Joel,
no, I know you do, but I want to talk about...
I know.
No, I want to, sometimes these issues about health care, about...
I fucking love how he just shuts him down, Bernie. He's like, no.
Income and wealth inequality are not talked about in the corporate media, and it's time that we did talk about them. That's why the question a moment ago, why are people losing faith in the American system? We don't talk about it on CNN. We don't talk about it in Congress. It's because they understand that a handful of billionaires exert enormous influence, and that has got to change. So when I'm running around the country with Alexandria and other people, what we are trying to do is demand that working class people begin to stand up and fight for their rights. There is no reason we should be the only major country not to have health care, not to have paid family and medical leave, et cetera, et cetera. Why we have the highest rate of childhood poverty, almost any major country. 22% of our seniors living on $15,000 a year. Anybody here think that makes sense? All right, it doesn't.
Yeah, Bernie's made more sense to me now than any other person I've listened to in the last 2 years. Really, he's made more sense to me than any other politician.
But you got to get CNN to talk about these issues. You got to get your members of Congress to talk about these issues.
We're literally talking about it right now.
Yeah, but I'm forcing you to talk about it, Anderson.
This is Joel.
Gotta love Bernie.
The state of Georgia. I sort of have two questions, but what is the plan if he declares martial law to stop, to stop us? I'm very concerned about our protests. Then he might do it, and then we won't have another election. Is there anything Congress or the Senate can do if he declares that? And my second question is, how do we undo the damage that he's done?
Thank you,
What is
Debbie.
going to be done?
I have no doubt that this president, given his authoritarian impulses, his desire to rule as a king by decree, and his contempt for those who criticize and disagree with him, would relish the opportunity to try to invoke or wield emergency powers. That cannot deter us as citizens from peacefully exercising every constitutional right to which we are entitled as American citizens.
Yeah, Bernie's been banging that drum for a long time, but it's amazing how, for me, how absolutely I couldn't hear it before, and now I'm hearing it. Like he knows what's up. He knows what the fuck is up. Yeah, he's been beating that drum for a long time, but it was too far away to hear. Now it's not. It's in my ear.
To speak out and to advocate for the kind of country that we want to live in, and we will not be deterred from exercising our right as citizens. This country was founded on a rejection of kings. And my view is that the American people have no interest in this new experiment in monarchy that this president is trying to impose. I think that it is deeper than political party. I'm hearing from Republicans and independents here in Georgia who are horrified that we have a president who would overtly defy federal judicial orders and show that kind of contempt for the rule of law and the Constitution. Look, I think in the short term, because you asked, what's the plan? Let me say, first of all, there is no magic button that I'm not pushing. There is no magic button that, if only we had the will to press it, would put a stop to this. And there is no long-forgotten, archaic tool of Senate procedure which, if only rediscovered, would put a stop to this. But public leadership, informing the public. For example, I don't think there's any part of this state, doesn't matter its politics, economy, where I said, hey, do you want to slash the healthcare system, defund your hospital, and leave pregnant women and infant children without health care in order to pay for a tax cut for the wealthiest people in the country? That is not a popular program. And
Yeah,
that
neither is all the abandoned children that don't have representation in our courts that are being deported to God knows where. That shit was like the most disturbing thing I've seen all fucking year, 2 years. And I'm gonna dig more into it. I need to know now. Fucking, I need to know more about it.
It is their program. And by exposing it as such, we are putting pressure on those who are considering voting for it in a way that I think is reducing their legislative scope to do damage. Ultimately, the only path out of this is to regain power in Congress. For example. So
yeah, I know Michael Clark. I feel kind of the same way about him too. And honestly, dude, the buzzing in the background in this video, I can't play it anymore because I'm too high. It's like hearing a bunch of little mosquitoes go. Like they're coming in my window. He kind of seems like a dishonest jack-off. A lot of talk, not a lot of action, but we'll see. Yeah, midterms are coming. Time's coming. We'll see who's going to step it up, who's not. But I can't have the mosquitoes attacking me. We'll skip the last one. We'll leave with something a little funny here. Last one right here. Unsafe from JD Vance, couches, eyeliner, trophies, and now popes. Sons of Liberty. What's Sons of Liberty? Sons of Liberty. Liberty. Sons of... Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, I know this guy. Angry Veteran. This guy's really good. Big Sarge.
And everyone else who stumbles across this video who's not yet following our channel for some mystifying reason.
We'll check in later. That's 14 minutes long. Sons of Liberty. Is this it? Sons of Liberty official? Sons of Liberty. Yeah, Die Mad Guy. This guy? We'll get into him later. I like him too. He's really good. I didn't know they had more people. But I will check it out later because it's time for me. It's CPs. I want to get a good night's CPs. I've been sleeping a lot. Discord coming to you guys really soon. We're really close to having my Discord ready, so check that out when it's ready. PayPal in pinned description is for Mr. Dodger, our friend fighting near Pokrovsk. Blech. Word's hard right now. And he needs our help. Awesome dude. I asked him the other day too. 72 drone strikes coming in over his head. What he needed, he didn't respond back. So if you guys are religious, a prayer to his way would be great. And then his PayPal is also in the description. He didn't tell me anything he needed. I know we were doing a tablet for him, but I'm sure he's got that by now. Just want to make sure he's got what he needs. It's going to go to the right spot. He's going to spend on what they need if the troops need anything. So he's in it, man. He's in it until the war ends. So we'd like to see whatever we can do to get him back home. So PayPal's in the chat there, guys, for Mr. Dodger, and they call him Dodger because he dodges bullets, Abby. If you get the reference, you get the reference. I'm going to leave you a little sneak peek into my new Gaming DayZ stream intro video that will be playing when I do DayZ. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything else with the video or if it's just going to be a screenshot. I might actually do a live video with it, but I did have a new thumbnail and song for it, and I will have it for my exit video. Good night, guys. I will see you later.